No one really understood what was happening when the first 10-second clip surfaced online. A blurry video, shaky camera, and Jamie Dornan's voice trembling as he said, "I'm so sorry, Dakota." That single sentence exploded across social media like a spark dropped into dry grass. Fans were confused, shocked, and instantly obsessed. What could possibly make Jamie apologize so openly, so emotionally, and so publicly to Dakota Johnson after all these years? The internet demanded answers, and every platform was drowning in theories within minutes. The clip appeared to be recorded backstage at an event, somewhere dimly lit and crowded with murmured voices. Jamie didn't know he was being filmed, or if he did, he didn't care. His shoulders were tense, his breathing uneven, and he looked as if he had been holding something inside for far too long. And Dakota, though not clearly visible in the video, seemed frozen in place, absorbing every word he said. Whatever Jamie was apologizing for, it wasn't something small. It was the kind of apology that comes from deep regret, the kind that breaks a person open. Their history only fueled the wildfire. Ever since the 50 Shades trilogy, Jamie and Dakota carried a weight that few Hollywood co-stars experienced. A level of intimacy on screen that blurred lines off-screen, at least in the eyes of the public. They defended each other, laughed together, finished each other's sentences during interviews, little things that fans dissected endlessly. The chemistry was real, undeniable, even if both insisted it was purely professional. But behind the smiles and witty banter, there was always a quiet tension, a question people weren't brave enough to say out loud. Were they as close as they seemed, or were they hiding something deeper? For years, rumors swirled, fallouts, disagreements, emotional distance, unspoken conflicts during filming. Some sources claimed Dakota often felt misunderstood. Others said Jamie struggled with the pressure of what the franchise demanded from their relationship. No one ever knew the truth. Both actors remained diplomatic, elegant, and careful, choosing silence over drama. But the apology changed everything. Silence was no longer possible when millions were replaying the moment frame by frame, trying to read the expression in Jamie's eyes. What struck viewers the most wasn't the apology itself, it was the rawness of his voice. He didn't sound rehearsed. He didn't sound like a man protecting his image. He sounded like someone who had reached the point where he couldn't carry a secret any longer. People argued over what he might be referring to. Did he hurt her emotionally during filming? Did he hide something important in their years working together? Or worse, did he let the rumors, the pressure, and the industry pull them apart in a way he now regretted? In the hours following the clip, Hollywood reporters scrambled to contact representatives from both sides. Neither Jamie's team nor Dakota's offered any statement. That silence only intensified the obsession. Fans dug into old interviews, analyzing gestures and glances, searching for clues. One moment especially resurfaced. A 2018 interview where Dakota jokingly said Jamie had abandoned her during a stressful filming day, and Jamie nervously laughed it off. At the time, it seemed playful. Now, people wondered if it hinted at something bigger. The longer the internet speculated, the more pressure mounted. Even celebrities began reacting, some shocked, some amused, some clearly concerned. A well-known director reposted the video with the caption, "There's a lot the public never knew about their dynamic." Within minutes, that post hit 1 million views. Suddenly, this wasn't just a viral moment. It was a storm unraveling something powerful, something fragile, something that had been buried for years. But what the public didn't know was that the 10-second clip wasn't the entire story. The person who recorded it later admitted that the conversation lasted much longer than what they uploaded. They said Jamie revealed something personal and emotional, something they hesitated to share because they feared the reaction would be too overwhelming. That confession, still hidden, became the biggest mystery on the internet, and everyone was desperate to know what came after, "I'm so sorry." And then, late that night, a rumor began spreading that the full video existed and would soon be leaked. A longer clip, clearer audio, the unseen part of Jamie's confession. The part that would finally explain everything. Fans held their breath, waiting for the truth that might change the way the world saw both Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson forever. The full video dropped without warning. No watermark, no caption, no explanation. It simply appeared on a small Twitter account with barely 100 followers, but within minutes it had spread across the internet like lightning. This time, the footage was clear. Jamie was standing just a few feet from Dakota, his hands trembling slightly, his voice low but steady enough to reveal the weight behind every word. He wasn't just apologizing, he was confessing something he had held on to for far too long. As the camera captured the moment from a better angle, the world finally saw Dakota's face. She wasn't angry, she wasn't cold, she looked stunned, like someone hearing a truth she never expected to confront again. Jamie's eyes locked on hers, and he said, "I should have told you years ago. I should have been honest with you instead of pretending I was fine." His voice cracked halfway through the sentence, and Dakota's breath visibly hitched. It wasn't the apology that shocked viewers, it was the regret, the intimacy, the sense that this conversation had been waiting to happen for nearly a decade. Jamie explained that during the height of their 50 Shades fame, when the world was obsessed with their chemistry, he was going through a private emotional struggle he never shared with her. He admitted he often felt overwhelmed, insecure, and terrified of letting her down. The pressure to match fan expectations, to deliver a believable connection on screen, had pushed him into a place where he shut down emotionally. "You always carried more than you should have," he told her. "And I let you face things alone. I'm sorry, you deserved better from me." The revelation hit fans harder than any scandalous rumor ever could. It wasn't about betrayal or drama. It was about vulnerability. Something rare in Hollywood, especially from someone like Jamie Dornan. Dakota listened quietly, blinking rapidly as if trying to make sense of the words she never thought she would hear. For years, people assumed she was the one who needed support, the one who dealt with criticism and pressure. No one imagined that Jamie had suffered silently beside her, weighed down by expectations he couldn't escape. In the video, Dakota finally spoke, her voice soft but trembling. She told him she had always sensed something was wrong but didn't know how to reach him without crossing boundaries. She admitted she often wondered whether she had done something to push him away. Hearing his confession made everything fall into place. "You should have trusted me," she whispered. "I would have been there. I always was." The sincerity in her tone cracked something open, not just in Jamie, but in everyone watching. The internet exploded again, but this time, it wasn't with jokes, theories, or wild accusations. It was with empathy. People wrote about how emotional honesty mattered more than any on-screen romance. Others praised Dakota for reacting with grace rather than anger. And thousands expressed admiration for Jamie's courage in revisiting the most vulnerable chapter of their shared history. Headlines spread across entertainment sites, calling it the most human moment Hollywood has seen in years. But the video wasn't over. The final seconds captured a moment that silenced the entire internet. Jamie took a small step forward, his voice barely above a whisper, and said, "You were my anchor." "I just never said it out loud." Dakota's eyes glistened as she held his gaze. There was no dramatic hug, no staged reconciliation, no exaggerated gesture. Just two people facing the weight of a truth they had ignored for too long. The intimacy of silence between them said more than any scripted line ever could. When the clip ended, fans were left speechless. Some cried, some posted their interpretations, others simply stared, replaying the final moment again and again. It became clear that this wasn't a confession meant for the world. It was meant for Dakota. The world just happened to witness it. And somehow, that made the moment even more powerful. In the days that followed, both actors finally addressed the viral video. Jamie admitted he hadn't intended the conversation to go public, but he didn't regret saying the words he'd held onto for years. Dakota said the moment was private but healing, and that she felt grateful for the closure it brought. Their statements calmed the frenzy, but the emotional impact lingered. People began revisiting old interviews, old photos, old behind-the-scenes clips, seeing everything through a new lens. That subtle glance Jamie gave Dakota during a press tour, The soft smile she offered him between takes. The tiny moments no one noticed before suddenly carried new meaning. Their story wasn't about scandal. It was about understanding. About fear. About honesty delayed for years but finally spoken aloud. And perhaps that was why the video went viral in the first place. Not because Jamie Dornan confessed something dramatic, but because he showed something Hollywood rarely allows: the truth of being human.